Hello students, this is chapter 17 from Microeconomics Pindike, Markets with Asymmetric Information. So we will cover 5 sections. We will omit 17.5, alright, in this chapter. Okay. Now, what is the meaning of asymmetric information? It means that one party to the transaction, whether the buyer or the seller, has more information than the other. They don't have the same amount of information. For instance, the market for used cars. All right, when a seller wants to sell its car at the second-hand market, the buyer meets the seller, and ask the seller to describe the condition of the car, right? But because this is a transaction with another private person, he may hold information about the condition of his car. He may hold information about how many accidents he's had with the car, or he just wants to sell the car at the highest price that he can get. So obviously, it is the seller that has more information than the buyer. Right, because this has been used by the seller for many years and it is not documented. Not like when you buy from the company, you buy a new car from a company, you know what state the car is at. So in buying cars, the seller has more information than the buyer. Alright, so let's show you in a graph how this buying cars, which is often called in economics the lemons problem. Okay, let's start with the simple graph just now. All right, there are two types of cars that are sold in the secondary market, for used cars. Two sets of cars. One set are really high quality cars sold, and another set is that the cars could be really low quality cars. Okay, if you are able to differentiate which of the second hand cars are high quality and low quality, then you can have supply for high quality and demand for high quality cars, so you have the price and you have the quantity. Similarly, with low quality supply, low quality demand for low quality cars, and you have the equilibrium price and quantity. But the problem is, in the second hand market, you will not be able to differentiate which one is high quality and low quality. Okay, so we see what happens is that buyers in the second hand car let's say they perceive that the cars are all 50-50. It could be good, it could be high quality, it could be low quality. So they are not willing to pay high quality price. So let's say they reduce these two from so they say this is a DM, middle quality, right? And then and same thing in the low quality market. In this market, they cannot differentiate, so they say maybe it's a 50-50 chance also. So the demand now goes up to DM. Okay, this one goes down to DM. All right, so what happens is that if your supply is now DM, in the high quality car, the intersection will be 25, will give you 25,000 cars, right? And in the low quality market, more will be purchased because people think it's just 50-50 when actually it is a lot lower, right? So it has artificially, the perception and demand thinks that it is much higher than that, so it goes up, and therefore your intersection gives you 75,000 cars. All right, so 75,000 cars. And so now the market has got 25 and 75. And over time, people will say that how come we are finding low quality cars more and we have more low quality cars than high quality cars in the secondary market. So they will keep on pushing the in this case they will keep on pushing the demand to low, low, medium, and then eventually all the way to low, because the perception is that it's as if in the secondary market there's no more high quality cars, so they keep on pushing until there's no more high quality cars, and then there is no demand for that, that it becomes zero. No, they are not willing to pay, so therefore there's no selling, there's no supplier who wants to sell high quality cars in the secondary market as well. Okay, and in this market you will see that they go up just now, and then they say, oh, because there are so many low quality cars, it's not even medium, they now realize that it is lower, there are a lot more lower quality cars, so they come down again, and then eventually they come down to the real DL. Okay, so what we see here is that because of the perception, and the perception is being reinforced more and more every round, as time goes by, people begin to people think that the market are mostly now low quality. Okay, until there is no one who wants to, in the extreme case, then no one wants to sell high quality cars already, because the market's total perception is that all cars in the market are low quality. Alright, so this is what we call the lemons issue, because you don't know which one is a lemon, so you think every car is a lemon. And the conclusion is that with asymmetric information just now, because you cannot differentiate high quality and low quality goods will eventually drive high quality goods out of the market. So the market now has mostly low quality goods, right? Okay, and with low quality goods, price will be lower, and sometimes you even you lose high quality goods altogether, right? Okay, so we also call this problem adverse selection. Market is a type of market failure when products of different qualities are sold at a single price, because of the perception, because asymmetric information, and that too much of the low quality product and too little of the high quality product are sold. Okay, now let's look at market for insurance. In insurance, the buyer would be people who buy insurance, right? Seller is the insurance company. So who has more information about the health of the product, the individuals? So the buyer have more information than the seller. They know their health, they know their dietary habits, they know their history of disease in the family, but they are buying an insurance from a company, from the seller, and the seller has little information about their true state of health. Okay, so in this case there's asymmetric information, but this time it is the buyer that has more information than the seller. Okay, and you still get adverse selection, similar to the case of used cars just now. You get adverse selection whereby people who buy insurance, we cannot differentiate who are really healthy and who are not healthy, but because there is a tendency for the perception to be like everyone who buys the insurance are not healthy. Okay, so supply will shift upwards. Supply now is the supply that will change. Okay, so you have a higher price. Supply will shift to the left. Okay, when you have a demand, so supply will shift to the left. So that's why you get a higher price when you want to sell insurance, because the perception this movement upwards is all based on perception. Since you can't determine, you don't have enough information to determine, so you to be honest, say you assume 50-50. If you assume less, if you assume more extreme, then it will become even higher and higher and higher. Okay, until you assume that everyone is unhealthy, whoever comes to buy is unhealthy, and therefore the cost of insurance premiums go up and up and up. Yeah. All right. In the market for credit, market for credit, same thing. Because you do not know who is the person paying they say they've got their salary, they've got this, but if you don't have enough, if banks do not have enough information compared to the person who comes and buy credit, or borrow from them. Buying credit that means you borrow. If you sell credit, it means you lend, right? So there is asymmetric information between the banks and the borrowers. So the banks, to be on, because of this asymmetric information, they will assume or they will perceive that the borrowers are high risk, and therefore they will charge a for low quality, mostly are low quality borrowers. So therefore they will charge a high interest rate. Okay. So how do you solve this, or how do you reduce the problem of asymmetric information? What you can do is try to get as much information out. For instance, insurance would require you to have a full medical checkup before you can buy, and they will determine it based on your medical checkup. Credit, you'll have to show your credit history and income tax, but still it does not guarantee full information, right? It's just ways where you can find out more about the quality of your borrowers or your buyers. Okay, so that's why it is important, whether you are the buyer or seller, to build in cases where there could not be equal amount of information. Therefore, there is importance of reputation. You can buy from a company that has a good reputation without, for instance, if you buy a used car, it's used car, but it is sold by a reputable company, instead of just any Henry or Thomas selling the car on Lazada or on online market. So if you buy it from a pre-loved or pre-sale, whatever you call it, there is a reputation that they will check the car before they take it and sell on the secondary market. Okay, another way to trust and to develop information to make it equal to buyers and sellers is by way of standardization. So that's why you're willing to pay a high price for your burgers, okay, burgers at fast food, because you will get that quality. There's a standardization, very strict standards applied there, so you know the quality that you're getting. You don't have to wonder whether this is going to be a high quality burger today or a non-high quality burger today, and therefore you get the problem of asymmetric information just now. So standardization helps determine the quality, and you will pay for that quality. Alright, if you feel that it is low quality, you pay for low quality, but the standardization gives you a certain measure of the quality. Alright, so I'll stop here and we'll continue in the next class.